Alright folks, we're back in the wood sty. This is a piece of very weathered pistachio. There are some cracks in it, but I think I can work with them. My plan here, down here it's more solid than back here, so I'm going to grab it with the chuck back here probably. And my goal is to make some kind of spindle turned candle holder thing. Yeah, that's the plan. Don't know if it's gonna work, you never do, but let's see what we can do with this.
Hello and welcome back to the wood sty. Today Zed is forcing himself to dive into the deep end of the pool and push the boundaries of his comfort zone. For a long time Zed has been intrigued by a turning tool known as the Russian knife or Russian skew. This tool is a wood-turning skew chisel, but with a more extreme bevel angle and usually mounted tang style into a handle. This tool is amazing at slicing the wood, and is particularly good at avoiding tear-out. That said, the extreme angle of the blade and the straightness of it make it somewhat challenging to use. Today Zed starts with the first version of the tool that he made some years ago and immediately became intimidated by it and hung it on the rack. After a bit of struggle he switches to the more recent demolition knife version. Let us know what you think of these tools. If you have any tips and tricks, share them below. What I see throughout this video is that when it works really well. Did you hear about the woodturner whose wife came into his shop and asked if he would turn her something? He said, "Sure, I have hickory, pistachio, walnut, what would you like? Maybe a rolling pin, or a salad bowl? Perhaps a vase?" His wife responds, "Oh, that doesn't matter, I just need some shavings for the garden." Thanks for watching.
So I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to someone. I received a nice little package in the mail of these cloth rags. One of my fans, Amy Cagle, saw how much I was struggling with paper towels shredding, and she sent me that. So much appreciated, Amy. Thank you. I'm going to use them in this. This will be the first video right here. That's really pretty. Even the crack through it is actually, I think it adds to it. I'll go with the polishing paste wax. This has carnauba in it. Carnauba likes a little bit of heat, friction, if you will, to get it to really pop, and it puts a pretty heavy sort of protective layer on it. Just gonna throw that on the floor for now. Everything goes on the floor. Okay, now let's see what this does. everybody. We are done with that one. That was fun. That's the pistachio candlestick holder. It's more like a votive candle holder, I guess they would call it. It's not snug fit because there's a lot of range in this size candle, so I figured it'd be better if you could fit more than one in there. You saw me struggling. The skew chisel is one of those things that I sort of intuitively think I understand until I use it, and then you know, when you're working towards these coves and you're trying to find that bevel, like if you're doing a flat, it makes sense because you're just holding the same angle the whole time. But when you're trying to do a curve, like is here or here, that's where I find myself getting into trouble. So those of you who know what I was doing wrong, feel free to constructively throw some comments in the below there. And if you're looking to just call me names or be mean, don't bother. That said, that was fun. I hope somebody benefited from watching me do that. And you can't really complain about pistachio wood. It's pretty phenomenal looking. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.